All right, we got a little Tuesday special here. Had to convince Hollywood Ray to come on today. He's a little bit busy, so I guess he's doing it for the fans. But before we get started, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow That's Why Sports on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button in the right-hand corner. Muy importante. But Hollywood Ray, how are we doing today?
Good. Rocking my North Face blue to represent the Eastern Conference because of that ass whooping they gave the Western Conference on Sunday night. So
Embarrassing.
we'll get into that. We may disagree on that, but as a fan of the Eastern Conference overall, obviously with my favorite team being in the Eastern Conference, and both of my All Stars had a pretty good showing. I was pleased with the overall outcome, but like I said, we'll get into the nuances of that because I have a nice little post that my friend put. So shout out to my boy Greg. But I'm going to use it in a few minutes when we talk about something I think that was an atrocity, something that it was okay. But yeah, either way, we got through it, and then now the best part of the season or regular season that is about to start. So can't wait.
Yeah, so before we get started on the All-Star break, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the JJ Redick Pat Bev kind of beef in the sense that JJ Redick obviously going
JJ
after
Redick,
Doc Rivers.
JJ Redick and Pat Bev.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
so
okay,
I guess you didn't know. So apparently,
I heard what JJ Redick said, but I don't think about what Pat
so
Bev
pretty
said.
much in layman's terms, it's going to take a little bit to find the quote, but pretty much in layman's terms, Pat Bev said like Doc Rivers gave him that shot to be a starter and got him the money that he needed to, whereas JJ Redick rebutted and said, "Listen, I had other teams as well giving me that 4-year deal with the money, so it's not Doc Rivers didn't do me any favors." Pretty much in layman's terms.
Okay.
That.
Yeah, and then I I saw Austin Rivers' response too. So okay.
Now I didn't know about that. I didn't know he responded.
No, so yeah, no, because I guess he's on NBA Today now with Malik Andrews in him, so he's been on this.
Oh, yep.
That's played. So Pat, two things, right? Pat Bev is always going to be a real one. I think that anyone that's helped him out in his career, he's always going to go to bat for. So whether he played with you for 2 minutes, whether he played with you for 2 years, he's going to do that. Secondly, they're both Chicago guys. Of course he was going to step in for him. Doc is from Chicago, so is Pat Bev. So, of course, whether you're an OG or not, of course he was going to step in and speak on Doc's behalf. That being said, what Austin Rivers said, I thought was spot on. Because he didn't seem like he was defending his dad. He was just spinning facts. He was like, look, he said, you said that my dad's never been held accountable. But he's the one that's always been held responsible when these leads are being blown. As if he's on the court. He was like, you don't get the 3-1 just by, just by luck. So I agree with him to an extent on that one. As far as the JJ Redick thing goes, yeah, you were the 11th pick, I believe, in 2006 out of Duke. You had a decent run in Orlando. They had made the playoffs several years in a row, made a finals appearance in 2009, losing to LA in 5 games. And, was touted as a great shooter for his whole career, but never a guy that you were going to pay top money because he wasn't someone that moved the needle, like Klay Thompson or even Steph Curry.
Yeah, exactly.
So, hell of a career. Like Austin said, I agree with him. Hell of a career. Once again, it's hard for me to give JJ super props because he is a Duke guy. I'm a Tar Heel fan. So, there's always that bias on my part, but I can acknowledge the talent. But yeah, I thought that he spoke his truth, but I felt like he was out of bounds. I felt like, once again, when someone, like I said, when someone gives you that opportunity, you don't take this moment to shake him down. I feel like he could have still said what he said without going in the way he did, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I agree with him also where he's talking about that Doc Rivers throws players under the bus more than being held accountable. I haven't seen it unless I'm missing something, whether he was obviously in LA. I don't think he did so much in Boston. Otherwise, you would have brought it up. Didn't really see it in LA. I don't think I saw it in Orlando. The only thing he messed up on was having Tim Duncan's wife go on the plane. He could have had NBA championship.
Right there, that's forget about the 3-1.
That's the worst thing that could ever happen.
That's the most egregious thing ever. Like the fact that you could have had Tim Duncan
Tracy
Grant
McGrady.
Hill, and T Mac, and because you wouldn't let girlfriends or wives be on the plane, what? Like, we all were T Mac when we heard that story, because you could tell he heard that for the first time. The way he responded, he was like, "What?" He was like, "That's what happened." He was like, "Are you kidding me?" So yeah, that to me was insane. I think Doc has always been known as a player's coach, especially by the time he got to Boston. Him and Rondo definitely had some beef, so I don't want to make it seem like it was all perfect in Boston, because it wasn't. Rondo would question certain things, and they would go back and forth, and that got out in the media. Him and Paul had some clashes early on, so the record definitely wasn't without blemish, but because we ended up getting KG and winning a title and going to 2 finals and going to 3 conference finals as a group, and having a nice 6-year run there while he was there, that eliminated a lot of things that could have went on and maybe did go on. Matter of fact, there was a story that they told on KG Certified with Paul and KG, and they talked about how I think it was the year that they lost to Miami the first time, which was in 2011 when Rondo had when D Wade wasn't played dirty. Speaking of that, we ain't been on. I ain't been on with you since that happened. When D Wade had did a dirty play, and ripped Rondo's arm out. So I think that year they had some beef there, despite winning 56 games. So yeah, so there was definitely turmoil there. But like I said, because he won, a lot of it got swept under the rug.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting with what's going on with Doc Rivers. Let's just see if he can handle it in Milwaukee. So far, they're 3-7. Maybe this All-Star break something that they needed, but we'll see what happens with that. So before we get into the All-Star game, though, what did you think of the All-Star festivities over the weekend? I kind of want to start with the dunk contest first.
Yeah,
didn't realize that if you dunk over Shaquille O'Neal, that's a thing now. I think he was in like 4 dunks that happened in that one. That was a little odd. Whatever happened, just creativity with doing certain dunks. It's like now everyone's just jumping over on top of each other. It's like, okay. Like, well, I don't know. This is a very weird dunk contest.
I mean, who's done it before? So Mac McClung now has done it. Hamdou Diallo from OKC or Detroit, whenever. No, he was in OKC then.
Yeah.
He did it over Shaq, if I'm not mistaken.
Just seems like a theme now. It's like
Nate Robinson did it. Yeah. So I mean, there's only, but the thing is, the problem is there's so many dunks that we've seen that these are not bad dunks, but because we've seen some wild dunks, whether it be in college, in Europe, or even just on the street, we've been desensitized to, having porous, or having a much stronger, judgment on the dunk contest. Now, did you see what Stephen A said earlier? Because I agree with what he said. I know you would agree because you can't stand the player anyways. He said that
one?
He said that LeBron ruined the dunk contest.
Well, he's been saying that for years. Mm-hmm. I think he said it when Max was there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've always agreed with that. It makes sense though. You've had stars before you've seen Jordan and Dominique Wilkins. You've seen the Vince Carters. You've seen the Dwight Howard. You've seen all these guys that are pretty much like the epitome of the NBA. And then you have the chosen one, and he's like, "Nah, I'm good." And everyone follows his lead. It's the same thing what happened with the bubble. They literally said if LeBron James said, "No, I'm not playing in the bubble," it would not have happened. So, like, everyone's going to follow what LeBron does, which is stupid. I didn't realize there was no leaders in the NBA. Didn't realize everyone was a bunch of followers.
Well, I mean, he is just like Jordan was, just like, Bird and Magic, and they just like those are the guys. They're not
just fine, but guys. Like, if you want to be a dunk contest, be in the dunk contest. You know how great it would have been if we had like an Ant Edwards, Ja Moran, and you could who else could you throw in there?
Well, Josh hurt, but yeah.
I'm just saying if he was healthy.
But yeah,
you could have had Zion. You could have had those kind of, like, you could have way better dunks. It's just so like mediocre now. So mediocre.
Yeah, I mean, listen. that dunk I saw McClung do to win it. For those of us that have been following him since his Georgetown days, or even when he was in high school,
And he was Texas Tech as well. Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, well, I don't. Whatever. Georgetown is the biggest school, basketball wise. Anyway, sorry, basketball wise. We've seen it. He's had that in his bag. So when people say, "Well, where was this?" I'm like, "Well, if you watch the tape, like he's had that type of dunk. He just wasn't always jumping over somebody. So, and he didn't have to do anything too much different because there was no one else really to challenge him there. I love that he did it. Jaylen Brown has caught a lot of flack for doing this, but I'm like, yo, he's because it wasn't that good to them. And once again, I was a little annoyed by it because it's like, yo, Terrence Clark was a loved person here in Boston. You know what I'm saying? Like, and for him to be clowned for showing love to Terrence Clark, it's really fucked up in my opinion. But that's a whole nother podcast for another day. Like I said, if you just say his performance was trash, fine, whatever. Like you want to go that route, cool. I'm okay with that. But just anything that's beyond that. But once again, Jaylen Brown has always been a puncher bag in his time here in Boston. He really
came to Houston.
They honestly, but y'all fans would have gone at him too. Honestly, I don't know what it is about. I don't know how people think he carries himself, things he says. Like I don't know. Like I just think that he's always been someone that and once again, there was times early in his career I was getting on because I was like I wanted either Jimmy Butler or Paul George at the time because I was like we were just the number 1 seed. No, we were just the 4th seed at that time. We had just lost to Atlanta in 6 games, and I'm like, you got to get someone that can help IT. I was like, this dude's. I said, IT's going to get you 20 a night. Bradley's a lockdown defender. Crowder at the time was a lockdown defender. I was like, you got to get someone that can get you another bucket if IT is not in the game. And thankfully, once again, that I'm not a GM, because once again, 8 years later, the man's getting 22 a night. He's been an All-NBA player. He's been an All-Star now 3 times. And he played great for us in the finals, even in a losing effort. So his good has outweighed his bad, but because of how he gets a lot of his flack because of what he does off the court too. And a lot of people up here are mad about that because they're like, well, look, you haven't helped us win anything. Fuck the off court stuff. But I'm like, I disagree with that. I think once again, today's player is more concerned or not only concerned with just doing stuff on the court. They want to do stuff off the court as well, which is fine. But like I said, as far as the punching bag thing goes, no one's got a better rap than him. But like I said, at least he didn't care about the outcome. He went out there and did his thing, and that's for that I commend him.
Yeah. Before we get into the 3-point contest, do you have? Since this is kind of like a dud NBA dunk contest, what is your favorite one that you've seen or just watched on like YouTube or whatever?
2000 easily.
The Vinsanity show, yeah.
So
I mean that was a really cool. Yeah. I was gonna say the Gerald Green blowing out the candle.
Yeah, that was a good one too. But I would say 2000, and then the one that was in Houston in 06, where between Nate Robinson and Iguodala. Iguodala got robbed in that one. Like that was special. I forget what year it was, but even the year that Fred Jones won was a pretty good year too.
I want
to say that was 04, I think. 04.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, but no, that Vince, listen, for those that didn't see him in his prime, thankfully me and Aaron grew up in the era that saw Vince in his prime, that saw T-Mac in his prime, Kobe, so on and so forth. Vince Carter is the best dunker this league has ever seen. Like, I don't care. You could talk about his playing career, even though the playing career was really good too. Vincent Lamar Carter is the best dunker this NBA has ever seen. And if you don't believe it, once again, he stopped the man from coming to the United States because he jumped over him. If you don't believe that, check the tape. Look at what happened. The New York Knicks and CP, if you're watching this eventually, if you're not watching now, but if you're watching later on, you can fact check this. Y'all drafted Frederick Rice in the first round at 99. It was kind of like a draft for stash. 2000 Olympics come around in Sydney. Vince Carter jumps over him, we never saw him in the NBA.
You could also say
So
too the
never
Vince
seen it.
Carter dunking over Lonzo Mourning twice.
Yeah,
You could
exactly.
say that one
Right.
too. Well, pretty much almost ended his career.
Right. You're right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. So he caught Mutombo a few times. I don't know if he caught Shaq, but I'm like many people didn't. Unless you were another big guy like him, Derek Coleman is in that category.
Oof.
That was nasty. But yeah, so I think I think that 2000 for sure. 06 was my second favorite. And then and this because I've worn this jersey on the show. I got to go with Jay Smooth as being another guy that I loved in this contest. I was a big Josh Fitz fan. I forever wanted him on the Celtics. I thought that he would have been a great piece for us, but it just never happened. But yeah, so he won. I think he won in Denver in 05. But yeah, that's another one. I thought he put on a great show. But yeah, Anthony Edwards, like I said, John Morant, like you said, Zion Williamson, with him being in shape. There's a few other guys I think that would be really dope to see in that competition. But guys got to want it. Like I said, guys got to not worry about the brand as much and just go out there. And who knows, maybe you winning it or you being in it helps the brand. But they don't look at it that way, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the brand, so before the 3-point contest, we have 3-point contest between Steph Curry and WNBA player Sabrina Ionescu. I hope I said that right.
Mm-hmm.
And she almost won over Steph Curry. So, I mean, the 3-point contest was okay to me. Obviously, now you can tell that big men can, shoot threes. As obviously Karl-Anthony Towns being in the finals with Trae Young and Dame Lillard.
Right.
But do you think that they should add WNBA players to the 3-point contest, as what we just saw with Steph Curry against Sabrina, or to just leave it as it is?
So, and I shouldn't have shaken my head so vehemently. Everybody can't shoot like her. I'm sorry. Like a lot of girls.
Well, she is a Kobe Bryant disciple.
Yeah, correct. But she's a beast. Okay, like she's a monster. Now where Caitlin Clark comes, I would love to see her because her range is like Curry. Is like we've seen her. She broke the fucking record from the logo. It's unreal. Like she's like that. Maybe when Juju Walkers gets there, who knows? Because she's probably the best women player at the freshman level right now. So yeah, maybe they do that. I think that helps to grow the game. So if the revenue sharing was right from it, if the attention, meaning the eyeballs, was on that segment more than most, then I think they'll consider it. I think this is something that Steph Curry should still do after he retires, because I feel like he'll be able to shoot till he's 50. So I would love to see that. So yeah, I shook my head. I talked myself into it. Yeah, it should be something that we see on a regular basis. Far as the men's, just the all men's 3-point contest. And I want to say this to you because you've clowned him, not too hard, but you got on him, and some other guys that have watched the show and texted me. Have y'all seen enough for Karl-Anthony Towns? Can y'all acknowledge the talent that this man is? Can y'all finally acknowledge that this man is a beast? A dude that big should not be able to shoot like that. And I'm tired of y'all saying, "Oh, good, well, he's soft, he's this."
It
the
helps
man
when he's
is
open.
6'11", 250, and is shooting like a guy that's 6'2", 190. That's unreal. It's unreal. So the floor is yours because you don't want us on the show. But can Aaron and the rest of y'all that get on Karl-Anthony Towns for being whatever y'all think he is, y'all seen it Sunday, y'all seen it on Saturday, you've really seen it majority of his career. This man is a hooper. Like, just go ahead, Aaron. This man's a hooper, but give credit where it's due, please.
It does help when there's no one on him. It does help that he can plant his feet, do what he needs to do. It definitely helps. So
he's an elite shot maker. Give the man credit. Yes, you're right. It's different when you're wide open. You're right. You're not wrong. He's an elite shot maker. Like, this is why I was like, I mean, granted, what Porzingis has been for us has been like beyond what I imagined. Like, I knew he'd be good if healthy, but it's beyond what I. But Mike, it's like, damn, like, so they won the same draft, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Him there, Cat went
so.
1, and then Porzingis went 4. So, like,
Yeah,
that what? Like, I'm sorry. And yeah,
so every time I think of Cat,
so
that's
cool.
what I think of.
That's cool.
Soft this
That's
baby
cool.
shit.
That's cool. One guy's in Puerto Rico, the other one's still getting 25 and 12 a night.
That's all I'm
gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. And I love Boogie. I love Boogie.
Say things
Boogie.
We don't mean. You wouldn't say it to his
Is
face.
that a fact? Is that a fact? One guy's in the league still tearing it up. The other guy's in Puerto Rico on a podcast. I'm just saying.
Fault. It's not his fault.
I'm not saying it was, but I'm speaking. You gave a fact, so did I. So he's in Puerto Rico on podcast talking about how great Tim Duncan was, which he's not wrong. Once again, you can't be a bum. Well, not bum, but you can't be soft when you're getting 27, 12, and 2 a night. Like it's not possible. Like, hold on, I'm like, let me get it up here, because I'm just like, to me it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Hold on, because I'm just like I said, I would take him. And also, if Houston or if Minnesota called Houston tomorrow and said, hey, we're gonna give you Towns, so I don't know who would be on it, but you would entertain it. You would entertain it, because once again, you guys have not seen that type of guy. And once again, even though I love Sengun is not the shooter that Anthony Towns is. It ain't even close. It's not even right. I've been on my baseball thing lately. Side note, get ready for that, guys. We'll be doing baseball soon. That is coming. So okay, here we go. So this year, so his number took a dip because obviously Anthony Edwards has been hooping, but 22, 8, and 5. It's like, so we scroll down. Yeah. So it's just like he's shooting 52
game logs right here for you.
Yeah, he's shooting almost 52% from the field. So yeah, look at that. So the points. So where's the points at? Okay, so rebounds. Let me see. We got to scroll over the points. Yeah. Yep. Got to scroll over a little bit. Yep. So
there we go.
So yeah. So it's just like on a nightly basis. So it's like it's or I don't know what happened with the Portland on the 13th, but 23, 24, 19 to 33. The rebounding is there. He's efficient from the field for the most part. Shooting 40% from 3 this month. 40, like that's I'm telling you, a man that big, and it's like I knew it in my head, but I didn't know the exact number. But when you're shooting that well from the 3, he's 6'11", 250. That's not supposed to happen. Like everything we thought Anthony Davis could be from the 3-point line is what Karl-Anthony actually is. And they're both Kentucky guys, so we know what Cal.
Well, we all thought that. We all thought that with Anthony Davis because he was a point guard in high school until he got that growth spurt.
Right, but I'm saying, like, and AD is 6'10", right? They say he's 250. He's not 250. He's probably about 240. So 6'10", 240. I'm saying, but he doesn't really want to shoot the threes now. But I'm like, what's wild, because his best highlight was a game-winning 3 against OKC some years ago. To send him into the playoffs, if those don't remember that. But I don't know. To me, I've been on the Cat train, so I knew when I came back on it. I'm like, I'm giving him his flowers on the show whenever I tape, because no matter what platform, whether it was here, I don't care if it was MTP, if somebody asked me to come on, I was gonna acknowledge that Karl-Anthony Towns is that guy. And once again, he's, like I said, he I know people will take Embiid over him because of the physicality. Obviously, Embiid has to shoulder more because he is the main guy over there. But listen, as good as Embiid is from the mid range, like I said, he's not the shooter that 32 is. And like I said, I think eventually, like, if they don't win, they probably move on from Karl-Anthony Towns. But I honestly think it's funny because he had a Kentucky team. Well, they weren't teammates, but he's another Kentucky guy. I think he'd be a monster if you gave Eric Spoelstra him and you put Bam at the 4. I think that would be amazing.
It's just they don't really have anybody to trade with, which is fine. But yeah,
I know.
that would be pretty amazing.
Make it a 3 or 4 team trade then. But I think if you put Bam next to Karl-Anthony Towns, because Bam's not a scorer. We see that's not what he's looking to do. Can he get you 20 and 10 eventually? Sure. That's not his game. He wants to play defense. They making him play just defense, and then he's more of a point forward because he's an excellent playmaker and a really great defender. If you put him next to someone like Karl-Anthony Towns, and you find a way to keep Hero or whoever it may be, look out. And once again, I wouldn't want this because obviously that would be more pressure for my Celtics. But I'm just thinking of a coach that could coach him. We talk about on here coaching from the neck up, from the neck down. There's not a thing that Karl-Anthony Towns can't do. And Pat Bev talked about it on his podcast. It's not a thing that he can't do. But just coaching him from the neck up to be like, yo, these dudes cannot fuck with you when you're on. Act like it. That's his biggest issue. But other than that, he's got it. And actually, so that's just my thoughts on that. So,
all right. Well, going on to the main finale here, because I don't know, this is just a very weird All-Star game. There's just no defense. For 211 points, was the first time ever. There's 2 things I'm going to show. The first thing I'm going to show is the viewership ratings, and it was actually down. So this is 2003. Obviously, Michael's last year, 10.8 mil. And kind of just it went down a little bit. And then it kind of came up in 2011, 9.1. Kind of steady, 7.5. Kobe's last year, 7.6. This year, 4.6. Okay. So I've seen a lot of people here kind of complaining that there's just no defense. It's just boring. It's just a glorified
pickup game.
Yeah, I guess a glorified pickup game. So, I mean, what are your thoughts so far on this viewership rating? What can improve with this All-Star game? Or should it just be the All-Star shouldn't be there? It should be like the G League guys or something.
I mean, yeah, maybe they do go a route of the showcase. Maybe they do that. Who knows? I don't know. But I guess what someone said, it used to be a way for them to grow the game and people to see on the national stage, but that doesn't have to happen now because of YouTube and Instagram and just social media as a whole. Players are able to really brand themselves without really needing this platform on the All-Star weekend to get that exposure or get those brand deals, so to speak. But I'm on the other side of it. I'm telling people, hey, cry more, cry about it. So shout out to my boy Greg, aka GA, who's a huge Bucks fan. If we face each other in the playoffs, Greg, I'm gonna reach out to you, man. I'm gonna have you come on here because you've been talking real spicy about my Celtics fans and how your Bucks have been overlooked. But that's a whole nother podcast another day. So he said there's been 73 All-Star games in the history of the league. So 42 out of 73. So for those, I'm a math teacher. That's a little over 50%. So it's almost 60% of the games have been have been that. So what's up, Arthur? So he said the first game was played in Boston, which that was history to me. I didn't know that because I feel like I don't care what era, people don't love coming up here for any type of celebratory thing, but that was cool to know that the first game was up here in Boston. And the East won 111-94, right? Probably was led by Bob Cousy. Who knows, right? So he said, so in the early years, so 1961, the West won 153-131. In 1962, the West won 150-130. 1966, the East won 137-94. In 1968, the East won 144-124. Then 1970, the East won 130, 142, 135. Another notable game, 1992. When Magic Johnson came back after the HIV scare. The
Mhm.
West won 153, and this is in the 90s. So for those just listening, in the 90s, 153 to 113. So on and so forth. So you get the point. There's always an era or there's certain games when one conference gets blown out the building. So this has been happening. So this is not something where it just came out of nowhere. Now, maybe the optics look bad because guys were kind of flying through the lane. But I just watched a rookie-sophomore game from LeBron and Melo's rookie year. And you know what was happening when the rookies were down 20? They were literally clearing the runway like they were FAA traffic control at the airport, and they were fucking clearing the lane so that LeBron could get a dunk, that Melo could get a dunk. Now get this one, right? Flip Murray. I don't know how many of y'all remember Flip Murray from Seattle back in the day. Flip Murray, and he came in, got a dunk. So don't tell me, well, they don't play defense, and this error is solved, and I can't believe they let them score 200 points. It has always happened. Once again, it was bound to happen at some point, guys. Let that shit go. Once again, Jaylen Brown didn't get hurt. Jason Tatum didn't get hurt. LeBron James didn't get hurt. No player on either side got hurt. That's what matters. Could you imagine the outcry or the slander someone would have gotten? Say if like Braun went up for like a chase down and he, sprained his ankle. Now he's out for 7 weeks.
That's impossible because this guy invests $1 million in his body. There's no way.
But what I'm saying is, whether it's him, fine. I use Tatum because Tatum don't do that. But
there you go.
Tatum plays just about every game in his career, at least in the regular season anyway. So it's like that injuries can happen at any given time. People say, "Oh, it's the money, it's that." Yeah, players are making more money than they ever have. Yes, they are. I don't know if they go to MLB route and incentivize home court, but it's like, could you imagine if the Miami Heat had home court against Denver last year? Like that had been a joke. Like what would the point have been of Denver smacking everybody, and then you get to the finals and your game one is in Miami? Come on, like that's trash.
Yeah. Got a comment. Two comments here from Arthur. I've always watched the All-Star dating back to 2001 when Kobe got books in Philly, but won MVP. He's the reason why I started watching the game because he was competitive. That's what's missing. And he also put, after Kobe left, I don't think players today take it serious than players in the 80s, 90s, early mid-2000s. So defense are being played more back than compared to today. So before you do anything, before you say anything, let's talk about this GOAT right here. You're going to tell me this guy doesn't know what he's talking about? Right here.
I always love competing in them. I didn't lose many of them. Fans want to see the best pickup game in the world. They don't want to see them down and dunking and doing all this crazy. Like they want to see what happens when you get these collection of best basketball players on the planet.
Right.
And they go head up against each other. I mean, you guys play harder at a pickup game in UCLA. For real. It ain't people watch. For real.
So he's obviously not wrong. He's not. But he's also been a part of some blowouts. He knows that. Once again, him as an individual was like that. And of course, there wasn't too many more that was ever more competitive Kobe Bryant. But I want to go back to what Arthur said. Arthur, you picked the outlier. You picked the best game of our generation. 2001 All-Star game was the best game of our era. It's not even close.
Yeah.
It's not even close. So that's an outlier. 2003, also an outlier. And once again, side note, I'll never forgive Jermaine O'Neal for ruining Michael Jordan's final moment.
Yeah.
Jermaine O'Neal ruined Michael Jordan's moment by fouling Kevin Garnett on the other side. Shawn Marion gave up that was an iconic moment. That shot would have been forever remembered. Because Michael Jordan hit that shot on him. And then Jermaine O'Neal goes down there and fucks it up. So 2001, 2003, even the one in Philly, I think in between that in 02 was really good too.
Yeah, come on, Arthur. Get together. 01 or 2002. Come on.
yeah. 02 when he got booed in Philly. Yeah. He got booed because they had just smacked Philly the year before in the finals. So I get that. He was from there. But that's just what it is. So no, listen, I understand that. Like guys want to show And once again, we'll never get that collection of Marbury kid. And once again, these are guys that got traded for each other too.
Yeah,
we forget about that in the early 2000s, like
Phoenix
Marbury
trade,
kid. Yeah. Then you had guys coming in, like T-Mac and then obviously, Kobe and Shaq and Duncan and KG. Like there was a nice influx of great players that wanted to be there. But once again, even at that time, guys were still getting major exposure for being there. You think about even with the dunk contest, the Desmond Masons of the world, Fred Jones of the world, your guys, CB franchise, right? Ricky Davis when he was in Charlotte before he got to Boston.
Ooh, Ricky Davis.
Yeah, Ricky Davis. Listen, there was no bigger Ricky Davis fan in Boston than me. I had his jersey. I had, obviously I had the braids. Like Ricky Davis was my guy. Like I loved Ricky Davis. He was the original J.R. Smith.
I can see that.
Yeah, Ricky Davis was the original J.R. Smith. Like just doing things, you just like you would scratch your head, but you're like, okay, I guess this is something that we can dwell on. But yeah, so so I don't know. I just think to me, there's a lot of crying over something that is not really going to change. They're not going to scrap the fucking game because there's still money that's made.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. Yeah,
no, but that's some people went that fucking far, and I'm like, shame on some in the media, shame on like that. They're not going to scrap the game. So let's take a deep breath. And Bob Ryan, who is a respected reporter here in Boston, get off your fucking high horse, Bob Ryan. Once again, I still would love to get off your high horse. Dave Cowens, JoJo White, Tiny Archibald, Hondo, aka John Havlicek. Those guys aren't walking through the door, Bob Ryan. And I know that's the era you grew up in. I know that's the era in Boston you beloved, and even with your beloved Red Sox and Fred Lynn and Dwight Evans and Louis Tion and George Scott and Rico Petrocelli and Tony Campanella. I get it, Bob Ryan. Them days is over, big dog. It's over. So if you don't want to watch it, that's cool. But don't sit here and break the game like these dudes are sorry. The talent level at this era is better than it's ever been. Now, some rule changes may need to change. I get that. But the talent era in this level is unbelievable. And the reason why the East scores 211, even if you being wide open, you got to make the shots. Them motherfuckers didn't miss. Halliburton made like his first 6 threes.
First 5,
like, he didn't miss. So the West was just cold. They were cold, in quotations, cold that night. So I don't know. I just said, but Bob Ryan, some other old, journalists, commentary, like pump the brakes. If you want to still watch your golden era, now you can watch YouTube, or you can keep the memories in your head, because you were there. But calm down. Once again, still would love you on the show, but I disagree with you on that one.
Yep. So last comment before we wrap it up here, I forgot about this. Steve A. Smith said this about the dunk contest. We should pick outside dunkers and the NBA players sponsor them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a YouTube page, or at least I've seen it on Instagram. They're called the Flight Brothers. They do some ridiculous stuff online.
Interesting.
And I would love to see them. The thing is, I know that the NBA probably had them and sign waivers, so they get protected or whatever. But some of the dunks these guys do are insane. So yeah, I would love that. Once again, their hunger is different because they're looking for $1 million, or they're looking for if you put $1 million prize up there for like the 4 best dunkers, and that's what it should be, right? Or you can give a charity for the All-Star game, but for that, $1 million prize for the first person, $750 for the second, $5 for the third, $250 for the fourth. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So you walk away with something. Then maybe you get a G League invite, whatever it may be. Who knows? But I think that would be dope if that was the case. But yeah, so for sure.
And last comment, because I know you have to go do your thing. Off topic, but yes, talent's way better than ever. But the reason we love basketball and always go back to the 80s and 90s because they put more time in their game, plus stayed in college longer.
Yeah. I mean, no, that's fair. But I mean, it's everything evolves though. Yes.
Adapt or die, pretty much.
So the reason why, yeah, I get it. First time I saw college basketball, it's Vince Carter, Anton Jameson, guys like Jeff McGinnis, right? Then the Brendan Haywards of the world, the Rayshon Terrys, the
Mike Bibby's, Gilbert Arenas,
Mike Bibby's, Miles Simon,
Jefferson,
right? Richard Jefferson, that era, right? Even Jay Will from Duke, right?
Steve Blake, Maryland.
Yeah, right, exactly. Johnny Gilchrist, right? You know what I'm saying?
Oof.
So yeah.
Oof.
yeah. Ooh, that was yeah. So I get it, and we forgot Chris Wilcox too was on that team, so he was really good at the time.
Oh yes.
So I get it, right? That's what we came up on, and guys, and yes, Arthur, you're right. Guys did stay longer. I do think had guys had NILs, well, they did. It was just unofficial. Right, NILs back then yeah, guys probably would have, I don't know, maybe came out earlier. Who knows? We have no idea. But either way, like I enjoy the product now. And I get it for people that feel a certain way about it. It is what it is. But once again, you're not gonna stop watching. And once again, I think people didn't watch the All-Star game was really because of what happened the night before. If the night before was really, really exciting, then it would have excited people more for what happened on Sunday. But the dunk contest always was a premier event, then the 3-point contest, then the game. But we got to get back to where the game was the most exciting thing. Because once again, we just talked about 01. We talked about 2003, 98 in New York, right? 99 didn't happen because they had the it was a shortened season. But I think about even 2010 in Dallas, right? When Braun, D Wade, and Bosh get together for the first time, and that was cool to see. Melo was on the West, but then shortly after gets traded to New York. So there's a lot of intrigue, with those seasons at the time, and I don't know. Like I said, we'll get through a cycle again where the defense matters again, and I mean, right now we're just not there, and that's okay. Once again, all the key players walked away without injury. That's what should be the takeaway. And we saw a record being broken. Like that should be the takeaway. Not that basketball's in a bad place, because once again, all these dudes are uber talented. Just give credit where it's due. If you don't want to watch the product, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But don't make it seem, my era would never, because I just gave you facts where your era did, and guys got blown out. So, once again, just chill, and stay around for the next episode.
Yeah. So, I'll start off with final words before we get out of here, because I know you're all Hollywood. You got some stuff to do. So obviously, again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow Outside Sports on YouTube. Trying to get to 100 subscribers. We're at 96 right now. Also, too, shout out to Variety Sports Network. Check out if any hockey fans are out there. I'm on there on Monday night. It's called The 5 Hole. Pretty good stuff over there. Check that out. And also, too, I'm putting a shout out for them because I want us to go on the Double Double podcast. I think that would be a really good episode that Variety Sports does. I feel like we would have a lot of good knowledge to help to work with them on that one. So that would be pretty cool. Obviously, follow us on everything right here. You see in the ticker. We also answer everything in the comments during live streams. I do as much as I can with that, but everyone's welcome to comment. I'll put it up there as long as obviously it's acceptable for our standards. And I think that's pretty much it for everything social media wise, but also don't forget, Black people matter.
Yeah, listen, keep listening, y'all. Keep listening. Once again, we have been on a really good run as of late. I talked about this off the air with Aaron, but we're approaching our 200th episode, and we have secured our guests already. I'm so excited to have them on here. So please make sure you tune in for that. We're gonna tap into something we used to do, which is that's my artist. So we are going to get into that a little bit more probably as the summer approaches, talking to artists, talking to those that run their own business. Once again, that is something this show was built on outside of just the sport. So that's what I always felt was made to separate us from other platforms. So please, if you have that story that you want to share, once again, you'd be on the air with one of us. or both of us if we're available. So just make sure that you reach out, or like I said, we reach out to you that you're able to do it. I think about my friend Kenya, my friend Alex that was on the show. We've had Brandon Sherrod, so it's just like, so whoever that wants to come on, man, like I said, you're doing something that's of importance. Like I said, we'd love to have you. And once again, as Aaron just mentioned a few moments ago, we are very close to the 100 subscribers on YouTube. So please make sure that you are a part of the next 4, and then a part of the next 100, and then the next 100, and then the next 100, and go so on and so forth. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, we're here to stay. And as always, Black Lives Matter, not just when it's convenient, not only when it's convenient for you.
I'm the host, Aaron Cass, Hollywood Ray. We'll see when we see you. Peace.
Tie this game at 60.